What's up, everyone? Daniel J. Collette for ESPN Esports here, and I am joined in the studio today by a very special guest, one of the most decorated American Tekken players of all time, Anakin. Thanks so much for joining us today,
Thanks
man.
for having me. It's an honor to be in the ESPN studios. Just didn't think we'd ever see the day.
Yeah, I know, right?
To have a Tekken player up in here, it's pretty sweet.
So you're here joining us ahead of Red Bull Conquest this weekend. Really exciting, very unique event.
Yeah.
We got the finals here in Santa Monica in LA this weekend. So tell us a little bit about that. This is kind of a new type of format for the FGC.
Yeah, so Red Bull Conquest essentially is just a tournament series in the United States designed to kind of search out and prove for a fact which region in the States has the best fighting game players. And in order to do that, we took the three hottest fighting games out right now: Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, and Under Night, aka Eunice. And we're like having qualifiers in separate cities across the states, and we formed 8 teams ready to battle it out this weekend in the national finals. I actually qualified in the Southeast out of Orlando alongside Terrence from Atlanta and also Hotashi locally in Florida. They are my teammates, and what's interesting about this tournament compared to any other tournament or any other team tournament that you might have seen in the past is that for the very first time we're going to be uniting all 3 games all at the same time. So for example, if we have my team, Orlando, matched up against another team, Houston, we're going to have the winner is going to be determined by me playing against the Houston's representative in Tekken, and we're going to have a Street Fighter match, and we're going to have a Eunice match all at once. So where you're used to seeing at fighting game tournaments, watching one game for 2 hours, then the next game, and it's like a set schedule, it's going to be action-packed. A lot of storylines are going to be flowing throughout the day because of all the different matchups that are going to be taking place all throughout.
Awesome, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's such an interesting event. As a fighting game fan myself, I'm really kind of excited to see how this format works out. It sort of like brings together, I feel like, kind of the spirit of fighting games in general, where you've got, people tend to play one or maybe a couple games, but everyone's like always aware of what's happening in each other's communities because all of these events host tournaments for multiple games at the same time. So it's really cool to see an event bringing the competition together from all these games into the same like actual bracket, which I think is really exciting. No one's really ever tried doing that before, so I'm excited to see how that goes. Tell me a little bit about the Orlando qualifier. What was that like competing in that? Did you find it to be a difficult bracket, or was it kind of straightforward for you?
Man, it was dope just because it was the event that kicked off the tour this year. We held it at Full Sail University. They had like a full esports studio. Like it was very, very fancy, and like I'm pretty sure a lot of fighting game players weren't even accustomed to seeing like what the spectacle they had, the stage and everything. It was awesome just to be a part of that out there in Orlando. So it went off without a hitch, pretty smooth. Went in there, took the spot clean from the Orlando representatives, the defenders, I guess you could say. And all in all, I'm very happy with the team that I got. I wouldn't have had it any other way. I wouldn't have preferred to qualify out of any other city. So yeah, it's a perfect storm for us this weekend coming in. I think we're going to do well.
What kind of prep have you done as a competitor coming into this weekend?
Well, fortunately for me, like Red Bull Conquest Finals falls upon like in the middle of a very, very like packed competitive schedule for me. I just came off of a DreamHack Atlanta. I took first place at that event.
Congratulations.
And it was actually, thank you. It was the last major on the Tekken World Tour before we're going to do battle in Thailand at the World Finals in 2 weeks. That's going down to Bangkok, and then I'm also preparing for another international tournament in Korea following that. So, Red Bull Conquest is just like another one of those things I'm going to check off my list on the road to the World Championships. So I've already kind of stepped up a notch in terms of like practice and study, video review. I'm kind of like, it's good to know also the participants that are qualified for this tournament, because player research and study has always been a big part of preparing for tournaments and everything. So I've already been kind of preparing for big opportunity, for big moments with the World Finals coming up, and this is no different. So luckily haven't had to change too much of my practice routine, but that's already because I've been practicing at like a very, very crazy pace already. And I'm just ready to go. That's how I like to stay.
It's wild to see you compete in so many different circuits at once. You've got the Red Bull circuit, you've got the actual Tekken World Tour, and then you've got like
side events.
Yeah,
all over
side
the place.
events as well.
WSOE and E-League. We had a lot of just exhibition tournaments, and like, yeah, it's just been a pretty cool year to participate in all the tournaments, and like it's a big testament to Tekken 7's growth, and we're really looking forward just to seeing like how we're gonna go from here.
So you mentioned, like kind of researching the other players and stuff at the event. Who are you looking forward to playing against the most this weekend?
Of course, I'm always looking forward to playing against my #1 rival in the United States, JimmyJTran. He qualified out of his home city in Oakland, California, so he's representing NorCal. Last year, I think his team took second place. He's definitely on the radar. Of course, we've had our battles over the years. I've been getting him lately, so I know that he's going to be using that as motivation to kind of come back and get revenge. And it'd probably be perfect for him to come into the Red Bull office and beat me up. So I'm really on my toes with him. If I come in there playing my game, doing what I'm supposed to do, then it's them who should be worried about me and not the other way around,
Absolutely. I like that attitude. So which region/team do you think overall, between all the games, is the strongest coming into this weekend?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think probably the odds-on favorite would be like the defending champs, the team coming out of the Northeast. I remember last year, if I'm not mistaken, it was New York, led by Punk, who won the national finals. And this year, Punk's back at it again. He qualified out there in Philly, and they're going to be definitely ones to compete. Same thing with both teams out of California, NorCal and SoCal, and they're going to have the home court advantage. But yeah, once again, I'm confident in my guys, man. I've seen them play. I know what they're capable of, and I've heard nothing but great things from people in the other communities about them. And so because of that, I haven't been really too much worried about what everybody else is going to bring to the table. As long as we can get into our groove, then, it should be smooth sailing.
Awesome. I hope so. Is this your first team-based tournament? Because you don't see that too often in fighting games.
Not really. Although they do exist, team tournaments are not really known as the standard and the staple. We ultimately want to crown one champion in fighting games, and that's kind of like what it is. It's a one-on-one game. However, sometimes we have exhibitions with team tournaments, 5-on-5, 3-on-3. We have this unique 3-on-3 format with Conquest that features 3 different games. So having a team tournament allows you to kind of change the rules, bend them a little bit to make them a little bit more interesting. There is a whole completely different part of the competition that you have to focus on, and that's teamwork, team chemistry, making sure your teammates are in the right frame of mind. And that's something that I'm probably going to be trying to do this weekend for my teammates. That's probably kind of my role, is to serve as the mental coach, team captain of the whole Orlando squad.
Speaking of regions of Tekken play, one of the things I'm the most interested about coming into this weekend specifically is that this is entirely North American competition, which is not something you see very often in a game as international as Tekken. What do you think that means for the competition?
I think it means that everybody's going to be just a little bit more hungry. And the reason why is because of the fact that we rarely have tournaments that feature only American talents these days. It kind of is viewed upon by the competitors as the national tournament, of the year, where we've got all the proven players from America all under one roof, and there are no international players to kind of jump into the bracket and cause problems. So I think it adds just a little bit of extra juice to have bragging rights, which I've already mentioned is kind of means a lot to people in the fighting game community. Right now, there's a lot of uncertainty as to who the best is too. So I think Shadow wants to prove himself, Speed Kicks, Jimmy J want to prove themselves, and I just want to hold it down. Right now, being the highest ranked American player, I know there's a big target on my back, so it's good practice for Thailand. I think going into the World Finals, I'm going to use this as a good opportunity to see what I need to work on. I'm going to go in there and I'm always confident. So just got to see what happens.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear, and I wish you the best of luck this weekend. Anything you want to say to the people out there watching this weekend?
Not too much. Just make sure to check out, Red Bull Conquest Finals is going down at noon, both days on Saturday and Sunday.
Twitch.tv/Red Bull.
/Red Bull, of course.
Awesome. Well, wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate
Great
it,
to have you, man.
Of course. Pleasure.
Always a pleasure. And if you want to see more exclusive interviews like this, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel here and follow us on Twitter and Twitch as well at ESPN Esports. But for now, that's all we've got. I've been Daniel J. Collette, your host, and we'll see you next time.